Tina Cooks is made possible through the generous support of
G's Hot Dog Cafe, home of the Chicago Dog.
Papa John's Pizza,
Leominster, Fitchburg, Marlboro, Worcester. KC's Body Connection Massage Center, connecting body, mind, and spirit.
Boucher Construction, Central Mass Sand and Gravel.
This is a roasted chestnut. This evening we're going to make pork chops stuffed with a roast chestnut stuffing. Stay tuned. Welcome to Tina Cooks. Today we're going to take this boring pork chop and we're going to turn it into a pork chop delicioso with a chestnut stuffing and raspberry sauce. I'm going to start out by trimming this extra fat off this pork chop because we don't need the extra fat. Once I'm done trimming the fat, we're going to go to the stove and roast the chestnuts for the chestnut stuffing. The first step to the stuffing is the chestnuts. Now we're roasting them on a nice low heat. You got to cut the backs of them. We put a little X in them. And you roast one side and then you turn them over. Now they're on their second side. Keep them covered and they take a good half an hour, 25 minutes to cook. About 10-15 minutes on one side, 10-15 minutes on the other. When you put them and crack them and let them, the skin peels off fairly easy, you know they're ready to eat. So we're going to let these finish up and we'll be back to do the chestnut stuffing. Now I'm going to show you how to clean a chestnut. In Italian, they're called castagnes. Okay, so we get the little split. You put a little pressure on the back of it, like that, and it splits open. And then you just peel it back, like this. Taking off the skin. See? You got a little bit there left. Just go like this with your knife. Okay? I'm going to clean about 1.5 cups of these, and we're going to use them in our stuffing. Okay? Castañas. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop these up. Rough chop. We don't want them too fine. Okay, and they are going to cook a little more with the stuffing. Now the reason why I'm doing these chestnut stuffed pork chops is because one time when I was a guest on the Mayor's Show, I had talked about it and he said, "Oh, that sounds so good, so good." And we know how much he loves chestnuts because during the holidays he likes to go downtown and roast chestnuts. That's right, we're talking about Mayor Dean Mazzarella. Now, with any luck, I know he's a very important man. He's supposed to be making a guest appearance on the show, and we're hoping to have him as a guest on the show. So, we'll see if we have a guest or not. Some of these are cooked a little more than others, but like I said, it doesn't matter because it's going to roast, the stuffing's going to roast in the oven for a good 45 minutes to an hour. 45 minutes probably, because I'm not making a big batch. I don't like that. If you don't like something, put it aside. If it doesn't feel right, get rid of it. I don't want anything to ruin our stuffing. So this is a good 1.5 cups of chestnuts. You can see that I didn't chop these up real fine. They're chunks because you want to be able to taste the chestnuts, okay? All right, so let's get the chestnuts in the cup. It's overflowing. That's okay. We'll put the extras on the board over here. And I've got some celery and onions chopped. And I'm just gonna grab some garlic and we'll get going on the stuffing. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start with a little bit of oil in our pan. Okay, and we're gonna get that hot. I'm gonna stir this around so that it's away from me. Now over here I got some celery and onions that I pre-cut. Just so they're very small dice. Okay. And over here I have some garlic that I'm going to chop fine. I'm just going to use 1 clove of garlic because I don't know if anybody's got any other appointments tonight or not, but we don't want them to go there stinky. There we go. Alright. So we're going to get this going a little bit. Okay. We're going to put in some butter. Gotta have some butter for flavoring. Just to get them a little bit smaller because some of them are really big. Okay. I'm going to put in chestnuts to go. Now these chestnuts, like I said, they're not quite done, but they're almost done. Still got a little bite to them because I want them to saute with the vegetables in here. Bringing stuff all over myself. Alright, so now we have our celery, our onions, our garlic, and our chestnuts. So we're going to add a little bit of granulated garlic, just a little bit because we're using fresh garlic. Okay? We're going to put in some pepper, because I like to season, you know, a little bit at a time. I've said it a number of times, and I've even seasoned. A little bit of salt. Whoa. That's why I always close these covers, because I've lost more parsley and salt to the floor than anybody I know. A little bit of parsley. And there we go. Alright, we're going to let these saute just a few minutes, just till the butter's melted and they just start to get a little translucent. I'm just going to make myself a little bit of chicken broth here. I don't have any in the can, so I'm using the base that I like to buy. Okay, I'm using about a teaspoon, because you're going to need some broth to get into the bread. Now, if you want to make a stuffing with day-old bread, you usually soak it in water for a good couple of hours so it soaks up all the water. And then you just drain it out through a colander, get all the water out of it, and you can use day-old bread instead of, I just bought a package because it's easier and it's nice and hard, so I don't have to worry about, you know, worrying about the bread. I just buy it like that. Alright, now these are getting good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a little bit of chicken broth, okay? Just like this to cover the vegetables, because I don't know how much broth the bread is going to pick up. So this is the package of bread I bought. This one might have a little, no, I don't think it's got seasoning in it. Then you just put your bread in there like this. Okay. There we go. And then you kind of put it down. See, now I think this is going to need a little more chicken broth, so I'm going to just do this. Because when you bake it, it's going to actually dry out a little bit. And I am going to bake this a little bit. Oops, my breadcrumbs are falling off. We're going to cover this up and we're going to let it simmer a little bit so that they can get all nice and soft in there. If it needs a little more broth, I'll add it. We'll be back. This needs a few minutes. So this is a little dry, so I am going to add some more chicken broth. Man, I hope I can get a measurement out of this. All right, so we're just gonna mix this around. See, it's really, really dry. You don't want it dry like that. You want this to get, you know, stuffing-ish. Now, I'm not a fan of bread stuffing, but I like the chestnut stuffing. I think it's because it's got the chestnuts in it. That's still kind of dry. So I'm probably going for about, I'd say a good 3 cups of broth here. Good 3 cups. There we go. Now it's starting to break down a little bit. Excellent. See how it's starting to get stuffing-ish. That's what I mean by stuffing-ish. Okay. Now, I'm not going to cover this and cook this on the stove a long period of time, because what I'm going to do is I have a casserole dish here that I buttered. Now, when we made stuffing at King's Corner, we started out with day old bread in the sink in a big kettle, weighted down, and we squeezed all the water out and started that way. This way, I start out with the already done bread and chicken broth, because I don't know, I think it tastes better. It's better than just plain water. But what I'm going to do to bring this stuffing the rest of the way is put it in this little casserole dish. And I hope it fits. And I'm going to bake it in the oven for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, about 375, 400 degrees, so that it makes everything in here cook. And it takes the rest of the water out. It's good to have it baked. So I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to get a spatula, because that's just too heavy for me to lift right now. And I'm going to put it in this baking dish, like this. Now, if you want, you could probably taste it at this point to see if it has enough salt and pepper. Here, let me see. I'll use this spoon, because I'm not going to use this again. Yeah. Well, I'm use a little bit of salt. We're just going to put a dish of salt in there, not much. Here we go, just a little bit. Just mix it into this one. And then we'll mix it into that one. Ooh, I just got a chestnut. Boy, is that good. This is going to be good. Now, you don't have to use these in pork chops. You can use this with turkey. You can use it with chicken. You can use it just in a pork roast from the casserole. You can do a lot with this stuffing. And I'm going to have to, because I got a lot of stuffing here. Alrighty, so we're going to put this in the oven. Oh, Jesus, I'm dropping stuffing everywhere. Yeah, I can lift this now. And there we go. I'm going to put this in the oven to cook. And I'm not going to cover it. I don't want to cover it. I don't want to lose any of those chestnuts. Those chestnuts were a labor of love, so every single one of them are going in this pan. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. Now, we're going to put this in about a 400-degree oven. We're going to let it bake. And we're going to get ready to do the raspberry sauce. Now, I'm making a raspberry sauce. Now, I'm not one to go nuts over sauces and stuff like that, okay? So what I do is I just took 2 bags of frozen raspberries. If you want, you can use fresh raspberries, but it's winter time and they're a little expensive, so I'm using frozen. Now what I do is I just take the raspberries and I'm going to put them in the in a saucepan. Oops, and I'm going to use a little bit of sugar. I'd say this is probably about 2 tablespoons the most. You don't want it sweet, sweet, sweet. I'm going to grab a little bit of white wine right here. Just a tish. Just to put some on the bottom, just a little tiny bit. I'd say about maybe 1/4 cup or so. And we're going to put this on a nice low heat, because there's not a lot of juice in here. So we're going to let those melt down by themselves, and they're going to come to a simmer. And then what we're going to do to finish it off is we're going to add butter. Now, if I was doing a dessert, I would add cornstarch and water. But where I'm serving it with pork, I'm going to put butter, and that gives it a more of a, it's more of a food taste, not a dessert sweet taste. So we're going to let this go, and we'll be back. Now, I like to season my pork chops before we stuff them. And I don't mind doing this like a good half an hour before, you actually stuff them, because then the oil and the seasonings get in there. Now, I'm using 2 boards because I'm not too keen about pork on the board. So let me just wash my hands for a minute, because I should have my bleach towelettes here to do this. I'm going to use a little bit of salt. Just a little bit. A little bit of parsley. A little bit. Give it some color. We're going to use some granulated garlic. Okay. And sing when you cook, because it makes you very happy when you're singing and you're cooking. All right. And we're going to do some pepper. Nice pepper. Okay. Now, I'm going to take oil, and I'm going to, olive oil, and I'm going to drizzle this on the pork like this. Okay. This little goblets all over the place. And then, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to just go like this, and season up all the pork chops, back and front, rub them around, and then I'm going to just make sure that both sides are done. Get all the seasoning on both sides, and then you just let them almost like marinate, and that way they get flavorful and they're marinating, and then that you have your meat tastes like something before you stuff it, that way there everything is seasoned. So I haven't seasoned. I do this with all the meat that I cook. I make sure I pre-season it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on a smaller cutting board, and I'm going to go over and wash my hands, and I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator because I want it to marinate for at least 15 minutes anyways. Okay, now as you're stirring in this pot, this is what the raspberries are going to start to look like. Now all that's in here, remember, is a little bit of white wine, couple tablespoons, and some sugar. Now that this is starting to become liquid, I'm going to bump this up so that it'll come to a simmer, because I want them to cook now, and I want them to get all nice and squishy and juicy. And we're going to incorporate some butter in there and have a great sauce. Okay, this is our castagna or chestnut stuffing. It's nice and cool. Remember, when you take it out of the oven, it's got to cool. Now we're going to stuff our pork chops, and I have a special guest here with me, Mr. Dean Mazzarella, mayor of our city.
King of chestnuts.
King of chestnuts. I said that earlier.
Connoisseur of chestnuts.
I said that earlier when I was roasting the chestnuts. I made it a point that you had roasted chestnuts a couple times this
See
season.
that right there? It was just looking at me. You want me to taste it?
Cool, go right ahead.
Oh, that's so good. That's
Okay.
good. You know what good part about stuffing is?
What?
Stuffing's good when it's hot.
Yeah.
Stuffing's good when it's warm.
Warm.
And stuffing's when
When
it's
it's
cold. That's a good part. This is good. What's in it again?
Chestnuts, and we got celery and onions and some fresh garlic, and I just took the package of bread, put it in there with some chicken broth, and then I bake it in the oven, because the oven makes it crispy and crunchy like this.
Right.
That makes it good.
Instead of soggy, it makes
Right.
it crunchy.
It dries it out. That's exactly what it does. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
We're going to take a pork chop.
Yeah.
And set it down. We're going to take some chestnut stuffing. We're going to put it in the center like that. We're going to fold over the chop. We're going to take some picks. Now ordinarily I would tie them, but what I'm going to do is we're going to charbroil these on my barbecue grill.
Barbecue grill. Wow.
Okay? And then we're going to put this over here like this. Now these are all marinated. I marinated them before we stuffed, so let's go.
That's it? You want me
That's
to
it.
help?
Yeah, definitely.
Trust me?
Of course I do.
Just take some.
Yep.
I like mine. I like them. Everything sticking out the sides.
That's
like it.
okay.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Like, fill
go
it right
ahead.
up.
Yeah, fill it up.
All right.
Okay.
Then what? Just roll it.
Roll it right
in
in
half.
half. Yeah, like that.
It's okay. Some falls
Yeah,
out, right?
Yeah, just stuff
Yeah,
it
I
in the
guess-
next one. That's what I
I guess
do.
it didn't. quite stay in like I thought.
Usually what I do is I try to stuff part of it. You might need like three toothpicks. Now remember, Dean, when you cook this for people, you got to take your toothpicks out.
Oh,
Yeah, because otherwise they'll be eating it.
Use it later
stick in
to
their
kinda
throat. Yeah.
stimulate your
Pick your teeth. Yeah.
dentures. Look at that. Pack an extra in this baby. Because I'm sure that stuffing picks up an extra taste later on.
Yeah, it does.
From the...
We'll wait till we deck it out with the raspberry
The good part about the
sauce.
stuffing here also is there's
Yeah.
no one particular taste that takes over,
No.
right?
Yeah, right.
That makes it good? Mm-hmm. Did I do that right?
Yeah,
I kind
that's
of
good.
dropping
No
off
problem.
the side here. Okay.
It's all right, we'll fix it. You gotta pick the ends.
Yep.
The ends so that the meat stays in, I mean the stuffing stays in.
Okay.
That's all right, you'll do the next one.
Is that what you mean? Just put one on the side?
Yeah. See
it,
what I'm
just-
what I'm doing is you're gonna close the top.
Close it
the
completely?
top. Yeah. Otherwise your stuffing's gonna fall all over the grill.
Well, okay.
That's good. That'll be good.
That?
That'll be all right. Yeah, we'll be able to wing
That
that.
one looks like a tuna salad or something.
That's okay.
All right.
This is just cooking.
like
If you, like I tell everybody, you gotta cook, you gotta have fun, you gotta make a mess.
Well, I'm having fun.
All right.
I'm making a mess.
Good. Then you
So
have,
I must be doing good.
Right. You're having fun. That's what cooking's all
Yeah.
about. I love this.
This is cool.
Isn't this show
It's
fun?
okay.
We have a lot of fun doing this show.
This is, especially if you know what you're doing.
Right.
See, now I'm a visual kind of person.
Yeah.
You can't tell me, sort of explain it to me. You got to show me. But now that you told me how to do it,
Yeah, see, that's it. You gotta
I'm
close
okay
the
now.
top, right.
Right. Now I'm okay.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, this stuffing goes good with turkey too. Wicked good with turkey. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some of my bleach cloths. I don't know what I...
Stuff, you
Now,
don't
what
want-
we have to do with these pork chops next, we gotta bring them to the grill. We're gonna grill them about 4 or 5 minutes on each side. When they have a nice, you know, grill mark on them and they're nice and golden brown, we're gonna pop them in the oven about 400 degrees for 15 minutes. So once I'm done grilling, we're gonna put the pork chops in the oven and finish the raspberry sauce. And we'll be back.
Oh my God, it smells good already.
You haven't even started yet.
I know.
Now you gotta have the special
That chocolate
tongs.
smell.
Right. All right, now here we go. Now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put them down on one side, like this. Here,
Are you
sizzle.
cooking them completely or just?
No,
kinda-
we're gonna do, I'm gonna let them
Three
go about
quarters?
4 or 5 minutes on each side, so they get a nice grill mark. And cause I like the pork grilled. I just like a grilled pork. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but I just do.
Thing is with pork,
Yeah.
is you can easily overcook it. People
Right.
tend to think, well, I want to make sure I cook it right.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then you overcook it, it's like leather.
Leather.
The
You gotta be
real
careful.
good
Right.
pork is just, I guess a meat thermometer is probably the best thing.
Yeah.
Who
Well-
made that one? Is that mine? Yeah, that was the
No.
one I tried to make like a lobster
This is,
sandwich.
yeah, this is the first one.
Yeah, that's the
so
one I try to like
This
fill
is
up
good.
with lobster.
This is good though, because you know what? You get a lot of stuffing in here, and that's great. because
So the
that's
key
got
to
delicious-
pork is really to cook it right.
Right,
Just right.
right. I don't-
Overcooked is, you may as well get a roll of dental floss.
Right, exactly. So what I do is I put them in here, and like I said, I'm going to get them all nice and golden brown
Right.
and barbecued. You want them to have a nice flavor to them. Then you put them in the oven. You finish them up on a high heat.
Are you going to put the sauce over it and then put
and
it
then
in?
you put
No.
we're gonna cook them, and
And
then
take 'em
we're
out.
gonna when we plate them, we're gonna put them on the raspberry sauce around it.
Okay.
Because the raspberry sauce, you don't need a ton of it. You put it around the bottom and drizzle a little
Accents
on top.
it, sort of?
Yeah, and you dip it. It's like a dipping sauce for the pork. All right, we're ready to do a flip here. So we're gonna flip this one. Yeah. Now I'll let you flip some.
No, you flip one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So
Flip
you
them
just
over.
kind of
Use the tongs and just flip them right over.
like that.
There you go. See how
Right.
nice
Yeah,
that is?
Slide it over a little
Yep.
bit.
Yep.
I'm learning.
And then just keep flipping over. Look at how beautiful
Oh,
that
that's really
is.
good.
Okay,
it's
we're
bubbling.
gonna finish off our raspberry sauce now. While Dean's whisking, I'm gonna drop in some butter.
Oh, that's
This
good
is about 2 tablespoons of butter. So whisk,
Yeah, whisk.
whisk, 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 whisk. Now you
This
gotta
smells so good. I know nobody can sort of smell this, but it is absolutely insane how good this smells.
yeah, you gotta keep whisking so it melts.
Right.
You get it emulsifies. That's what you call it,
Emulsify.
Yeah, right. It'll emulsify.
I know that
Make
word.
it nice and smooth.
Right.
So if you were doing this over pastry, you'd be using water and cornstarch,
Mm-hmm.
but we're using it over food, so we're gonna put 2 tablespoons of butter.
Which isn't a real lot, is it?
No, because you know, you probably use like a tablespoon or 2 of sauce.
Right.
It's not something, it's not like gravy that you pour it all over the
No
place.
trans fats in here, everything's natural.
Right,
Huh?
right. Well, the butter might have a little fat. But, you know, if I had to eat margarine,
Yeah,
I would rather have butter.
Butter,
Because it's
right.
hydrogenized. At
Right.
least this is a pure fat.
sure it is.
It's not hydrogenized.
So that's pretty much, no, almost.
Yeah, almost. You gotta make sure all those little chunks are gone in there.
Chunky. It smells so good. I will say, the lead up to this supper is quite interesting.
How do you like doing a show?
It's a lot of work. I don't know if people understand how hard you work at this.
Yeah,
It's a
well-
lot of, you've been at this now for over a couple hours.
Yeah. Well, you
It's a
gotta.
lot of work. Most guys lose interest in 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank God Carl doesn't.
Yeah, well, Carl,
Because I'd be in trouble.
yeah, but Carl's got certain, you know, he's got a certain palate for this.
Right,
He has
yeah,
certain
yeah.
taste, abilities that very few people have.
Okay, now I'm gonna give you a spoon.
Right,
You're gonna taste that.
Taste
And
it.
make sure our raspberries are sweet enough, because I had to add
this like a
little bit-
treat?
Yeah, I had to add a little bit of sugar in there. It's very hot,
I
so
like
make
hot
sure you
things.
don't burn your mouth off. Are they sweet enough?
I would say so.
Okay. You don't want them sugary sweet like a dessert. You want them,
I would say that's a very
Excellent.
natural sweetness. That's good.
Alrighty.
I better try just a little bit more, just in case.
okay. We're gonna finish this up now. We're back. Dean's gonna put the pork chops on the dishes. I have one here. He's gonna arrange these on the plate here. Now remember, when you're serving, this is very important. Take these toothpicks out because they are very, very dangerous. You don't want to serve them with the toothpicks in there. Make sure there's no toothpicks on the edge. And then what you do is, this is our raspberry sauce. You're just going to take a ladle of it, and you're just going to bring it around the dish, like so. It's more like a dipping sauce than a sauce you want to cover your pork chop with.
So you're not gonna flood it.
Right. Now, ordinarily, I would serve a wild rice, maybe some green beans, but it's been a little hectic today, so we made a big Caesar salad to go with our pork chops. He's still picking at the stuffing. Okay, come over here and try this with me.
I don't know. I might have to just, all right, so what are we doing?
We're gonna try a piece
We're
of
gonna try a
this.
piece.
There's your fork. Okay, you gotta dip it in your raspberry sauce. We're gonna take a big taste, and then we're gonna sign off, and then we're gonna go eat.
All right,
Okay? All right, ready?
let me see.
Dip it in the sauce. It's hot.
Well, that's
All right,
good.
good.
That's really good.
Really good.
And the pork chops cooked perfectly, I'll tell you in a minute.
Don't overcook your pork chop. Not good?
Oh, that's good. That's a nice taste.
Okay. So that is our chestnut stuffed pork chop with raspberry sauce. This is Dean Mazzarella, and we're saying have a good night. Thank you for watching Tina Cooks.
Dino eats.
Taking the toothpicks out.
Yeah, no, I took the toothpicks out. Just make sure I took the toothpicks out. You know how that.
Oh, I see what you meant.
Oh, see?
She did that on purpose.
I would've
Very
been
good.
on the
I told you, Carl.
Planted it for you.
6 months in that time machine.